all kind of formulated in real time. I mean, I was managing CANTRELL, and we went on press runs and went to see different people creative space, but more importantly, he was signing Master Pill at the time, so we went to their space in New York, and we was just like, man, one day we're gonna be dope enough to have something like this. And it was real minor scale compared to what we ended up doing. And I think as we kind of embarked on our journey, we went from being a part of that to being independent to really studying what was going on. And I think we just always been students of culture anyway. So it was real important for me to figure out a way to get us our own footprint, how to bring our everything we wanted to do collectively and individually in one space. And just going through the journey of meeting people and seeing what everybody else's struggle was, to me it became real important that not only did we have a space for us, we had a space for other people who didn't have the resources at the time. And then on a grand scale, I always pay attention to culture and what's happening in our culture. And that sounds real cliche, but I'm really like that. So I was noticing from a real estate standpoint was one thing, but also Atlanta, Georgia, small town, we've always had that South got something to say. Everybody know the under 3,000, South got something to say. And when I looked at it, Atlanta has been running culture from a talent standpoint for the last 20 years. You got your outliers, you got your Drakes, you got a person here or there that just, had their amazing run. But for the most part, even with Drake came to Atlanta. Drake came, the Sixth God, and a lot of those influences came from Atlanta. So I was looking at it and I was like, we got everything, but people still have to go to New York or LA to do their press runs. And I really understood that if you don't have a press base or if you don't have a media hub, you can never run anything. Malcolm X said, he who controls the press controls the people. So outside of just having real estate, we needed somewhere that once we had the real estate, once we had the collective resources, to show it to the world. So that's why it was really important to me that when you come to Atlanta, you can't just come here and get the sauce. You gotta come here for your press runs. You gotta come here and talk about everything that we're doing or talk about what you're doing to our people. So that's why it was really important to me. It's funny because I have a saying that say the genius isn't in the ideas, in the execution. That's one of the things I kind of live by, because I read this book called Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday, and it basically talks about great men who had great ideas and great failures at the same time. So to me, the genius has always been in the strategic steps, not just the idea. So when I originally started collecting my set of partners or who I wanted to be a part of it, one of the key things is they had to be from the South and they had to be black. And that's no anti-anybody. That's just, I wanted a homegrown incubator, so I needed homegrown people. I needed people who understood culture, not business. Business, anybody can understand. Everybody has money. Everybody has resources to some capacity. So me and CANTRELL went to school together. Me and Desmond, Graham, Slat, OG12, we all went to the same high school at the same time. And that was big for me. I know Busta Rhymes, Biggie, and Jay-Z went to the same school, and I can't rap, but just having that piece of everybody grew up together. Trent Brown actually went to our high school too. He's younger than us, but that was all homegrown. Everybody from the partner standpoint, except for Caleb, spent time, grew up, born, raised in Albany. And then from a operational standpoint, I had two musicians, and I know content is king. I needed the best person that I could get attached to film content in. And Caleb has a company called Open Season with him and Jarrell Lamar, and they've been shooting content for CANTRELL even before I was officially involved with them. So, and everybody's platform and skill set and resources was kind of growing at the same time. So it just made sense to bring us all together. And a big thing about Trent is me and Trent built the relationship over the last few years just on having like-minded ideas, having like-minded views on family, on discipline, on hard work, on being good people. And then lastly, my goddad slash ex-stepdad, he just have always been a part of my life. And he's always taught me to think outside of the box, taught me to think outside of my area, and always taught me to think business. Since I was 7 years old, everything we've ever talked about has had a negotiation to it. If I wanted an Xbox, if I wanted to stay up late, if I wanted to go to a game, if I wanted to do anything, it had to be a, why should you do this? How are you gonna do this? So once I put everything together, just knowing, his pedigree, his resources, and wanting family involved, it just made sense to bring him in too. Two things. Our tables are better, and we do better together. And what that means to me is, no matter who the hour is and our tables are better, anything you want to create can be just as good and better than whatever your mark is, whatever you think is the best in that era. You have to believe it first. And the second thing is, you have to have partnership. Independence is something that I think is for the weak, because nobody does anything great alone. This mindset that you have to do everything alone is a bad mindset to me. So if you believe you can create something great and you find other people that you believe in, that believe in what you're trying to do, then you can do anything. And don't rush it. You're gonna get frustrated, you're gonna have setbacks, but you can do anything that you want to do as long as you bring in the right people.
Some of the other partners, Travis COCHRAN, Steve Cantrell, Jameer Jackson, and Trent Brown, Isaiah Smart. And the list goes on. We got several partners that really encompass and build up the space that you see today. Again, it's not one person. We don't really operate with the CEO mindset. It's all about the janitor mindset. What are you gonna bring that's gonna add value to the overall, industry? I've worked on a lot of great projects that required a great team. I've been blessed to have people around me that allow me to lead and to lead powerfully. Some of those projects that I've worked on, Jimmy Fallon with Conway, The Machine, Ludacris, Jid, working with J. Cole, actually worked with Kanye West for a period of time. It's a lot to name, Future, Thug, Chris Brown, and that's all within the past 4 or 5 years. And again, it goes back to my childhood and the way that I was raised. I wasn't raised like the traditional, kid in Atlanta. I was in the sticks, bro. You know what I'm saying? Out in the country, and it's nothing to really do. It's no mall to go to. It's all about, finding something that's positive to do and surviving within that. So when I was given these opportunities to work on these different projects, it's just survival of the fittest. You just gotta put yourself out there and work for the best. Not try for the best, work for the best. I feel like an idle mind is never healthy. You know what I mean? And being at home in the pandemic and not being able to, do anything, and you need to be able to get that energy off. And this allows you to do that. You can come in here and you can shoot whatever content you want to shoot for however long you want to shoot it. And now you have the space to do that, which we didn't have that before. You couldn't book spaces like this on Peerspace. You couldn't book spaces like this on Gigster. You know what I mean? And now that you can, and it's all in one unit.
The HBUC is, I think, a testament of all the partners. You know what I mean? So being that what I saw wasn't this. What we have here at the HBUC now is bigger than what I saw. I may have saw having a recording studio, offices that we could use but also rent out, a couple of other things, but having production, having a training facility, event space, if we choose to use it that way. Having all these things, I think, is testament to the partners that we have. So it's a no-brainer, man. When you have an idea, you have a vision for something, and someone can help you elevate that vision, it's a no-brainer. I think this is gonna be a no-brainer for a lot of people that come in contact with it, come in this space, hear about it, whatever it may be. Any advice I would have or could try to come up with for anybody that may be wanting to do something like this in their own town is make sure you have a solid foundation. First with yourself, secondly with your network. You know, you need to have the right partners. This is tough, especially if you're creative first. Like, I'm probably a rapper and a creative director before I'm a businessman right now, right? So you need those other arms and those other people that you can lean on and trust and know that they're gonna get the job done to be able to execute something of this magnitude. Because no matter how much square feet you have or don't have, it's a big deal, you know? So treat it like a big deal. Know that it's a big deal no matter how big or small it is that you have. Your idea is a big deal. Know that. That's it. That's the advice I would give someone also. And really dig into whatever knowledge you can get, wherever you can get it from. Learn how to apply different things to different places. So if you're not big on business, but you're soaking up a lot of knowledge from somewhere else, figure out how you can turn it into the business space, and vice versa. They call me the brainchild. You know, it was something I always wanted, a creative space for individuals, creatives, or what have you, that'd be sort of an incubator, so creatives can have the space to create freely, feel free, be free, feel safe, you know, because anybody knows that if they've tried to create anything, it's a liberating thing, and you don't want to stifle that at all. You want to continue to water that, you know what I'm saying? So that's all I really wanted. My advice to other artists that are trying to excel in a larger city, especially if you're coming from a smaller one like most do, is to remain yourself through everything. You know what I mean? Don't give up, don't quit. And I know it sounds simple, it sounds easy, like that's the general advice, but the longer you stick with something, if you truly have a passion for it, you'll figure it out. You know what I mean? So stay yourself, don't stop, work hard, but also work smart, and make sure you're putting yourself within or around a network that works. Shout out to my boy Dubois for that phrase, a network that works.
My name is Isaiah Smart. I am a partner of the HBUC. I've been involved with one of the managing partners as a consultant for his musical career for about 10 years. I've met Travis COCHRAN, another one of the principal owners, shortly thereafter, maybe about 3 years ago. We started on a project together called Dreamer Digital, which is a different company of ours. And then since then, everything kind of came together, working with Caleb across different music video projects, OG12, CANTRELL, and Travis collectively. A lot of us were already aligned in the work that we wanted to do and that we were doing separately, and everything just kind of came together. So when it came time for us, especially during the pandemic, when we were really supposed to be sitting down and being still, it actually gave us time to really start brainstorming on what we can do bigger and better. And this is really what came from it.
The thing is, even though this is a creative space, it still has to be some kind of structure within to keep daily operations going and to keep discipline going. So being in the military gave me enough discipline to work in a space like this, to push people to keep them in line with all of our guidelines and our plans.